All I've got to say is f***ing A. Oh my god, was this movie fun. And for those of you who haven't heard about this film, it's basically America's take on Shaun of the Dead. I did enjoy Shaun of the Dead, but I had the same complaint about it that a lot of my friends had. That it did get kind of dark at times, as a lot of zombie films do. This film almost does that, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. The film starts off with Jesse Eisenberg in this post-apocalyptic world where America no longer exists. It's now just called Zombieland. And to survive, Jesse Eisenberg has come up with all of these rules that he applies in everyday life. For example, rule number 1 is cardio. Always exercise so you can outrun the zombies. Rule number 2 is double tap. Always shoot a zombie twice. Number 3 would be beware of bathrooms, because they always like to trap you in there. Number 4 is always wear your seatbelt, and so on and so on. Eventually, Jesse Eisenberg runs into Woody Harrelson, who, by the way, is absolutely brilliant in this film. And they both go out and start hunting down these zombies together, trying to get back to Jesse Eisenberg's home in Columbus, Ohio. Along the way, they run into Emma Stone and Abigail Breslin, and they kind of form a strange, dysfunctional family together that just goes around and messes with zombies all day. Now, as I mentioned a little while ago, nearly every zombie film I've seen has become really dark, even when it's trying to be funny, like Shaun of the Dead. This film does that occasionally, but the big difference in this film is that after that dark or sad scene, it's followed up by a quick one-liner or a quick physical joke or something along those lines, and it gets you right back into laughing. So you don't sit there dwelling on all this negative stuff that might be going on. It's really quick, you're sad for a second, but then boom, right back into the comedy, which I really did like. You care about these characters enough to want them to get through this, but not so much that you want to see all this backstory about all this sad stuff that's occurred in their lives. One thing that I really did love about this film, though, was the comedy interactions between these 4 characters. I loved the jokes these guys were throwing back and forth at each other, especially Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson. From the first moment they meet, Jesse Eisenberg says, "Hey, I think you're a little threatening. I think you're a little crazy." Woody Harrelson says, "Yeah, well, I think you're a bit of a little pussy." You know? And these two just do this the entire film, and it creates for so many good comedic moments. And I know this next comment really isn't about the film at all, but Emma Stone is frigging hot in this movie. Also, one of the funniest cameos I have ever seen took place in this film. I'm not gonna say who it is. I will not ruin this cameo, but it was hilarious to see this celebrity on screen, and I was laughing the full 10-15 minutes he was in the film. Now, there were a couple parts in this film that just kind of made me step back and say, well, that's not logical. Some of the actions that these characters take in the middle and the latter part of this film really don't make any logical sense. I don't know why they would do this or do that, but again, because I was having such a good time, I forgave the movie for these strange little plot holes that were going on. And one little thing that did help me enjoy the film a little more was its soundtrack. I don't know why, but I loved the music in this film. And any of you who have seen my past reviews know that a soundtrack can sometimes make or break a movie, and this film had a really good soundtrack. So again, all things taken into consideration, with a very good cast, very good comedy, very good dialogue, this is one of the best films to come out this fall, if not this year. So, final rating. As I said before, I had nothing but fun in this film. If you go and see it with about 7 or 8 of your friends, and I guarantee you will be laughing all the way through. The only drawback of this film is that it is kind of short. The film only runs for about an hour and 20 minutes. Of all the films I've seen this year, this is the one that kind of left me saying, I want to see some more. But even so, I still had a great time in this movie. I'm going to give this film 4 stars. Of all the zombie films I have seen over the past few years, I have had more fun in this one than any of them combined. I highly suggest you see this film while it's still in theaters. However, one thing really confuses me about these rules that Jesse Eisenberg has. I mentioned a few of them before, you know, cardio, double tap, beware of bathrooms. He has a few other ones like travel light, don't be a hero, limber up, check the back seat, you know, stuff like that. But the most obvious zombie rule is skipped. Even he should know this. The ultimate zombie rule is shoot him in the head. How is that one not on your list? That should be the #1 zombie rule. Shoot him in the head. So, take care.